So at the time of recording, I'm worth around 1.1 million Canadian, but I only spend $5,000 a month personally. And I'm going to break down why. I'm going to break down exactly how you can also do the same in terms of investments and being able to live off that, building a 7, 8 figure net worth in a second. I'll throw up some screenshots of the accounts as well. And I just want to get this out of the way first, though. I'm not, trying to penny pinch. I want to be very clear. There's a huge difference between living below your means because you choose to, my situation, versus living below your means because you have no choice, because you don't have much income in the first place. If you're in that second situation where you're just kind of scraping by, dude, your first priority needs to be increasing your income. Okay. I'm not a fan at this point in my life of living frugally for just because is very stupid. There's only so many expenses you can cut. Okay. So what I'm talking about today only works when you have that abundance of cash flow, if you will. Okay. So let's dive right into this. Core principle number one: every dollar that you spend now is stealing $10 from your future self. I had this video pop up on my feed. Trey Cockram is his name, and he goes into this and he breaks down his whole story. And it was honestly really, really fucking good. And the math is like, if you can invest that dollar, get a 10 to 50% return over 10 to 15, I said 1.5 over time with compounding, that easily becomes $10 or more. So when I'm really thinking of buying something at this point, I ask myself, like, do I buy this with my, immediate cash flow, or do I have my investments pay for it? Which is kind of the hack that I'm trying to get to now. I've talked about this in previous videos. This is what Alex Hormozi did with his huge office commercial building that he purchased for, I think, multi 8 figures. Is like, how can I make money off of this expense? Like, I want to, but I want to justify it. And he basically had and now runs seminars within this company within this corporation. It's really, really cool. And he's been able to have that building pay for itself. I'm literally doing that with the R8. I started a car channel because it's like, dude, I keep moving my own goalpost. Why don't I just take the plunge? Why don't I just buy this damn thing? And I'm like, screw it. Let's, start a car channel dedicated to this. Any revenue generated from that channel will go into this. So that's how I'm, playing these expenses. I'm not, taking away the nice dinners and I live a very good lifestyle. We'll talk more about that in a minute, but just think, like, do you really need this thing? And if you really want it or really do, I'm all for it. But figure out like hacks, figure out little ways that you can pay for stuff without actually paying for it. I know that sounds kind of silly, but it's just something that, I want to get across. Principle 2, this is the most important. Pay attention. If you're audio only, this is where some screenshots are going to help me visualize this. This is like the 2 to 3 year compounding hack. This is where it gets very interesting. Most people think you need to sacrifice decades and decades to build wealth or grind 80 hours a week, and it's not true. I've made a video about this in the past where if you just put your damn head down for 2 to 3 years, the math becomes insane. This is how I built most of my wealth, was actually like cash flow. It wasn't even investing. So learn from my mistake. Here's exactly what I want you to do. I want you to go to Google, type in investment calculator. I'll throw up the screenshot of the best one. I want you to determine right now how much you need just to live. For most people, it's probably going to be a couple grand. If you are in my similar situation, maybe $5,000 a month. It doesn't matter, right? It could be a monthly number or simply just a total portfolio amount that you want to eventually withdraw from. If you want 10 million, awesome. Use that as the math. Comfortable number. Hold that to the side for a second. Now I want you to say, like, I want you to, say, I can get my business, I can get my income to worst case scenario to this number: 10 grand a month, 20 grand a month, 50 grand a month if you're really shooting for it. Trey talked about being at 100 grand a month for a couple of years. If you gave it absolutely everything you got, what is the best number that you can get to? How much money can you get to profit-wise on a monthly basis? Okay, so you have 2 numbers now. Hold those. I want you to deduct your lifestyle monthly expense number and take that net monthly amount that you have left over. This is obviously, side note, this isn't factoring in taxes, okay? So be careful. Every state is different. Every country is different. Set the money aside that you need to for taxes, okay? Don't try to scam the government. But just hypothetically speaking, let's say as an example, you make 20 grand a month. You need 5 grand a month to live. That leaves you with what? 15, okay? Awesome. You got 15 grand a month left over. Let's assume you could do this for 3 years. You can sustain $15,000 a month total gross for 3 years, which I personally, guys, I think is stupidly doable. I don't care about relatability in this video. I don't think if you think that's bullshit, I 100% think you can save $15,000 a month for 3 years, okay? Especially for anyone in their 20s. Let's just say you're 25 right now. Awesome. You want to start this for 12 months. So $15,000 a month times 12 months, that's 180 grand. 180 grand for 3 years is, a little over $500,000. I think that works out to like 520, 540, something like that. You're 25. Say you want to see what pans out to by 40. Awesome. So 15 years from now, go back to the compound interest calculator, plug in $15,000 a month for a second, and just act. Act as if you invested every single dollar. I know you probably don't want to do this. I know I for sure as hell didn't want to do this. When I saw that money sitting in the checking account, I just wanted it to stay there. I wanted to hold and feel it for a second, but that's stupid. Okay, just hypothetically for a second, act as if you invested all of that. Your monthly expenses are covered. You put in the S&P, gold, some crypto, whatever. I think this is pretty conservative given what's about to happen. Hopefully in the markets, there might be a little bit of a dip, but long term, I think we're looking at, let's just say a 12% return. Okay, and I do think it's going to be higher than that, but let's just be conservative. I want you to realize two scenarios. You lump sum that 540 grand in right now. I'm going to throw up a screenshot of that and net a 12% return with not a single extra dollar contributed. Works out to just under $3 million. $3 million for doing nothing by 40, all because you did the work and contributing now. And this what makes the most sense if you want to just, do that. And that's the crazy part. If you start from zero, let's say a second scenario, you start from zero and you start adding 15 grand within, a month ASAP, right? So not the lump sum. You start consistently adding $15,000 into the month or into the markets ASAP by 40. That works out to 7 million, right? Some people don't want to contribute that much for 5 years or 15 years. Sorry, I get that. But the plan is, this is my plan, to keep my business going indefinitely and actually increase my contribution so that can turn into even more. But the point is, like, compounding in and of itself, when you have high amounts of cash flow going into it, it's stupid how much money this works out to. And just zooming all the way out, guys, the reason I say this is because, again, you don't have to grind for a stupid amount of time. If you want to step away from your business, you can, right? You can actually have this as your backup. This is more than enough for most people to withdraw 3 to 4%. So when I saw this calculator, I'm like, dude, you just got to have high cash flow business. This isn't going to work for something that's like brick and mortar or very like low cash flow. That's obviously a key point here, but you got to do this, okay? And this goes right into principle 3 is early discipline gets you long-term like exponential wealth, just hockey stick wealth growth. And this is why starting early is so powerful. If you can do this in your early 20s, dude, you're going to be worth 8 figures without doing any extra contributions, right? When you start discipline, you train yourself to live well on less money. When your income grows later, almost all that extra money can go into investments. Compare that to someone who starts later. They're already spending everything. They're already used to spending everything. So even when they earn more, even a tiny little bit goes to wealth building because they've already inflated their lifestyle. It's really, really stupid. So you have to be careful. Don't inflate the lifestyle just because. If you want some vacations, you want some nice toys, like I said, figure out how to have a hack to where you can live off those things and not touch the principal, okay? Point 4, this is the smart spending strategy, if you will. Like I said, I don't ask if I can afford this. It's like, how can I make money from this without touching anything, without touching cash flow? Even if I, need to not touch investments, maybe you need to take on one more client, start a project, a side project, optimize like a current revenue stream that you have. And it does 2 things. It keeps the wealth like building machine, if you will, untouched on its own, just in the background. And it makes me figure out if I really, really, truly want stuff. Because there's been stupid things that I've almost purchased a Jaguar F-Type a couple months ago, even though it's stupid. Why? Like, what is the point? I did a video on the Rolex, threw that money into Bitcoin instead. Like, there's a whole bunch of things that it's like, do I really, really want this right now? The R8 is something that I've really wanted. So that's why I created a project out of it. Right? So this way, I'm just focused on growing the income and there's no other, bullshit facts. So point 5 is intentional living. I guess I want to talk about it. It's like people think being careful with money means you can't enjoy life. We're so trapped in this consumerism bullshit, to be completely frank, and that's just backwards. Like you spend good money on stuff that actually matters. I live a very good life, quality food, meal delivery, cleaning services. I have a cleaner that comes by, things that make my life better and allow me to spend the time that I actually want to do. That's what you should be spending your money on. That I don't even see as an expense. I see that as an investment because it buys your time back directly, but it also makes your life better. When I walk into a clean house, when I walk into a house with, good organic, whole food, grass-fed meats, like this makes me happy. It makes me a better person, right? So it's not really restriction. It's just like, what's optimization. It's like I'm optimizing things as I go along. Would I let mindless, spending stop me from building the life that I actually want? Hell no. So why do it, right? Why do that? It just doesn't make any sense. Principle 5, The psychology of abundance goes back to the very first point that I talked about. There's something really satisfying about walking into a store knowing you could buy whatever the hell you want, right? Trust me. But choosing not to, when I walk out of that damn thing, it just puts a huge smile on my face. It's very different from the person who is stretching so far to afford one little fucking thing and stressing about their bank account when I'm laughing over there saying, I can afford 10 of these things. But it's just, you don't buy. You feel in control. And when your investments finally do pay for something that you want, it's basically free, right? It's like, that's proving the whole system works. That's the funny thing, where how these billionaires just, they loan against their own assets, where they just don't even use any of their own cash flow. People don't conceptualize this. People don't understand this stuff. So I guess that's all the points, but that's the mindset shift that changes everything. Is most people don't understand there's a psychological difference between I can't afford this and I choose not to buy this. When you're broke, every purchase decision is stressful because you're operating from scarcity, because you don't have much money coming in the first place. And when you have money, choose not to spend it, that's operating from true abundance, right? It's the difference of being controlled by your own money versus you being in the driver's seat and actually taking this damn thing. So I don't know, man. What's the long-term vision? The long-term vision is, this is what I'm, building towards, is complete financial freedom. Not just like I can pay my bills, I could take a couple years off work, but I literally never have to think about money again. I'm kind of in the phase of like, I haven't looked at a restaurant bill in a long time. I'll literally just put my card down. I haven't really looked at gifts for people because I like, taking care of people, but like, I'm not at supercar money yet. I'm not at, full-blown first-class money yet. I'm not private jet money, but I want to get there, of course. I want to not have to even worry about this stuff. So at my current rate, I'm hopefully being able to, by 40, just do that. Just like 8 figures in the bank, 8 figures invested. I could take risk whenever the hell I want. I could start, passion projects whenever the hell I want. Travel for years if I wanted to. That's my long-term play, and you should figure out yours. And that's the point of this video. So as always, if you made it this far, I wanted to see you, and I appreciate your time as always. We'll see you in the next one.